This is episode 144 of The Real Podcasters, which is slightly awkward because of a certain person that's involved in this podcast. I mean, like, it's your fault. Yeah.
Wonder who that could be.
So, we are going to be talking about Back to the Future Part 3. We did talk about Part 1 last year. We thoroughly enjoyed it.
We did. Yeah, it's a pretty good film.
We do need to address Part 2, which I would have been more than happy to.
Yeah.
Dan doesn't like Part 2.
I mean, maybe Dan's thoughts have
Well,
changed.
if they have, all of a sudden I'm going to be retconning
Not that
this.
he's got time to rewatch it or anything.
I haven't got prepped for Part 2.
Yeah, his entire script is just prepared for the roasting of Back to the Future 2.
The majority of this conversation will be on Part 3, very much like how we've done with the last couple of retrospectives where we've got a bunch of questions to ask each other. We will address Part 2, though. We will start off with that quickly just to get it out of the way. Mostly on Dan, because I still really love Part 2. That one still... I mean, I understand why people have a couple of issues with it. It's a bit convoluted. But I still kind of enjoy it for that. And I like it going back to 1955 and sort of... Like, honestly, if Wes Craven had gotten to a Back to the Future movie after he did, like, Wes Craven's New Nightmare and Scream, honestly, that wouldn't shock me, because it is kind of poking fun at itself with Back to the Future 2. It is, though, clearly a middle chapter. It doesn't really end. And there's a stupid trailer for Part 3, which I've never liked. Yeah. Never liked that at all.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. I was just like, why the hell?
Thanks for the spoilers, guys. Even though I knew there was a Part 3, but it doesn't matter. Like, okay, then give me your brief thoughts on Part 2, then, and then we'll move on to the main.
Okay.
The head is in hands.
Right. Yep. I've only ever watched it once, and once is enough. I do like the fact that it is actually really dystopian, as a matter of fact. I know that some people really don't. I quite like it. It's a science fiction film at the end of the day, and then again, I come from a horror background, so I just like anything that's bleak and grim. You know? Oh, yeah, you know. I don't really care for the cliffhanger ending, but as you say, it's sort of a middle chapter, so what really can you do? For a film that's set in the future, it is really dated.
Right. See, that's not fair. Okay, that's not fair.
Oh dear. No, I'm sorry, but like I've seen better friggin' CGI in like films that just don't need to be CGI. It's wank. I'm sorry. Like it just looks absolutely wank.
Should have given him the 4K Blu-ray version.
Well, is the CG improved in that, though?
Yes. I mean, not by much. You know,
bloody better, mate.
Yeah, I mean,
like I don't mind some bits, but then there's just some parts that I'm just like, this. I'm not here now. I'm not here.
Okay.
It's fine. It's fine. But I don't ever intend to watch it. I'll just stick with the first one and the third one for obvious reasons. It's fine.
Well, you see, that's kind of the thing with doing Back to the Future Part 3 now. I mean, you know, looking at the entire schedule for the year, obviously there's a lot that I'm really excited for covering. This one immediately became the one I was the most excited for, mostly because your reaction to watching Part 3 was, like, nothing like what I...
Unexpected?
Yes, because I have been, you know, getting onto initial thoughts. I mean, you know, saw the Back to the Future films, like, years and years and years ago. You know, I've grown up watching them. And I've always had a soft spot for Part 3. In the same manner as, and this will be repeated when we talk about one of the Star Warses this year, where the best one in the series isn't necessarily my favourite. So, Back to the Future Part 1 is the best of the three. That's not even a contest.
Oh,
but Part 3 is my but Part 3 is my favourite. But it gets very close.
It's one of those things where I think it's it's sort of like the Indiana Jones trilogy, I think,
Mm.
where it is impossible to, well, for me at least, it's sort of impossible to say, oh yeah, that's like the definitive favorite of it, because it changes every single time, and I feel like it's very much the same with Back to the Future 3 and the original one. Because some days it's like, oh well, it's like definitely Temple of Doom because it's got a horror thing to it, and then like, you know, a month I'm like, well, actually it's Raiders, and then another month Last Crusade, and it's sort of the same case here. I'm like, God, I really like the original one, but I just love 3 as well. It's impossible.
I mean, that like realistically, I wasn't expecting it because I've always felt like I'm a bit too much of a defender for Part 3. I do have my issues. There is one particular, which is the main reason why it's not the best.
And what is the issue?
We'll get to it. Yeah, we'll get to it in a little bit. But I think thematically, Part 3 is potentially the strongest of the 3. The love story that's at the centre of it, while as I was a child, I was like, ew, old people being in love. Now it's my favourite of the 3. And I think the setting, I've always loved the setting. And I'm not a fan of westerns. I've made that abundantly clear before.
No, you're really not.
Well, it's not. I mean, it's not my favourite genre. I've never seeked it out too much. So when I say the Back to the Future Part 3 is the best western, is going to get me thrown out.
All I'll say is, as somebody who has watched quite a lot of westerns recently, you have to have a bit of a resilience to them, I think.
Yeah. But no, I think it's just nice that we are kind of on the same page with a movie that's... I do understand, like, you know, like in the same way with Part 2, I can understand why some people might consider this one the weakest. It is, you know, you kind of have to have seen 1 and 2 fairly recently. You can't just pick it up and just be like, oh, right, okay, yeah, sure. It's not very standalone, which is fine. It's a trilogy. I don't mind if it's split into 3 acts, by all accounts. I know people have their issues when it comes to Marty in this movie, which I will get to, because I think it's a bit bollocks. Actually, yeah, there is actually 2 things I don't like, because it doesn't make any sense.
Oh, it's yeah.
Like, it's funny, like, it's the kind of thing, like, one really doesn't ruin the movie, it's just funny. The other one also doesn't ruin it, but it's personal preference. But we'll kick things off with the first question for us, because it's one of the bigger issues that I think people have had with the film, because Part 1 is very much Marty's story. You know, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Part 2 is kind of the 2 of them. Part 3 is just the doc. Do you like that? Do you think that's a nice way to round out the trilogy? Or do you feel like it should have purely been...
I think for continuity, it should have just been Marty's story all the way through.
Okay.
For continuity reasons. But I do like how it shifts its focus a bit, because, you know, you've got 2 core characters here across 3 films. You've got to do something a bit different, don't you? You can't just have... Like, I see the reasoning behind it, that if they just kept Marty as the character, it might be a bit stale all the time. So I do quite like it, actually.
Yeah, I've always loved it. And I think especially because, you know, when you look at the trilogy as a whole, Doc as a character doesn't really... He doesn't evolve, like, at all. Like, especially in Part 1, you spend the entire time with the version in the 50s, not the version in the 80s. Yeah. So it's not until Part 2 where you actually get to see proper modern-day Doc doing stuff, which is nice. He doesn't have much of an emotional arc. You do get hints of this in Part 2 that is paid off in Part 3, in particular with his feelings on creating the DeLorean, which I love. I love that he does actually admit, I shouldn't have done this.
Might not have been a good idea.
This is a bad idea, but I like that, and that's why I like, as you say, that's why I like the dystopian aspects of Part 2, because you've done, like, the super awesomeness of doing time travel in the first movie. Let's really highlight that that's not always going to be the case. You're going to end up in the shits sometimes. Shit Valley instead of Hill Valley.
Oh, it's a delicate thing, time
You
travel.
know, under under Biff Trump. No, sorry, not Trump. Tannen. Two very different people. They're very, very different people. They're
Yeah, I
exactly
was
the
gonna
same
say.
person. Like, how did they know? You know, they didn't predict 2015 very well, but my god, did they get close with one character who wasn't even in 2015. It was literally a year later when all the credit. Anyway, so I like the fact that they do shift to the Doc for part 3 because it also rounds him out. He's the reason there's a cliffhanger in part 2, and it kind of makes sense that you give him a little bit more to do. Complete with Christopher Lloyd and Mary Steenburgen having just too nice chemistry. To be honest, they're really lovely together, and it's like, for God's sake. How dare you guys be happy? Like, it's just not allowed.
No, you have this lovely, sweet relationship in a gritty dystopian sequel. Not on my watch.
Absolutely not. So, because you do shift to the Doc, Marty doesn't have quite as much to do. I mean, he still has, you know, you're kind of still paying off the arc that's then created in part 2. With him, you know, just not being able to take a fight very well at all. He's just like, right, every time. And he hurls
What is it, the bloody, is it Bulford that you get the showdown and it's like, he calls him like chicken or something, the thing that carries on from the second film. And you just instantly see the reaction again. It's like, oh, for God's sake.
See, that just makes me smirk. I mean, yeah, it's really silly.
It does make me laugh.
But it's just like... but I love Marty's...
And the Doc's just like appease them, just don't react to it whatsoever.
See, I just love...
No.
Like, towards the end, when it's getting to that duel between the two of them, and as he's just consistently hurling insults through the window, and Marty's just standing there, and then like, eventually he's just like, he's an arsehole. It's just like, why? I was like, thank you. Yeah. So he still has stuff to do. Yeah, it's not quite as emotionally resonant as it is with part 1 or even part 2 to a certain extent. But I like the fact that it's flipped the other way around, where Doc's the one that's the fish out of water, and Marty's the one that's having to keep him on the reins. It's just flipped around, and I think it makes sense.
It's like role reversal, isn't it?
And I think for the concluding part of a trilogy, it kind of makes sense to bring it full circle and flip it around a bit. I think that's actually really good. It kind of justifies its own existence in a way.
Yeah.
Obviously, as the villain, of course, you've once again got another Tannen, because this entire family is just full of assholes. How do they even procreate?
Clearly.
Like, seriously? Well, I can probably assume how. We're not going there. But in this case, we've got Buford Mad Dog Tannen, which is...
What in the Red Dead Redemption?
I kept on thinking it. I was like, I never called my character that on like Red Dead Online. I'm gonna have to now.
Yeah. Well, see, if you do, you've just got to be like the biggest griefing arsehole ever.
That's why I'm not gonna do it, because I'm just too kind. Okay, I mean, of the 3 movies, is this the best Tannen villain that we've had? Because of course we've got 1950s Biff. The second one you've got Biff Trump, and really old Biff.
Well, it's kind of just like what you were saying about like characters evolving over time. Like that, he's an arsehole across all 3 of them. There's no doubt about it. But you've got like stereotypical jock, 50s jock Biff, and then you've got sci-fi Biff, and then you've got Mad Dog Biff.
Yeah. But I love it. It's great.
I'd say that 3 is probably my favourite one.
This is a really easy one to record. As it turns out, I was like, do you like this? Yes. Right, moving on. There's just no debate at all, is there?
Yeah? No debate, no discussion. Yeah,
it's
3 that he is just... 3 is peak villain.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, yeah, you still have, like, you know, like, the callbacks to how they've done it in the previous 2 movies when he thinks it's Seamus McFly at the bar, but it's not. It's actually mine. He just assumes it because of the hat. So I was like, that's a nice way to call back to that. You know, even with right. Here's one of my issues.
Oh dear.
See, because Universal and Crispin Glover, whatever bridges were burned, they're just in tatters now. It means you couldn't have Crispin Glover and well, it doesn't make sense when it comes to Marty's ancestors. Like, one of them can be Michael J. Fox, fine. I think it's really well done. Like, I think the shots during the dance about midway through the film, with a cameo from ZZ Top as one of the bands, which is genius. And there's just that shot of following Marty and Seamus, and it's Michael J. Fox both times, and it's flawless. It looks brilliant.
Yeah.
But then you've got Leah Thompson playing Seamus's wife. That doesn't make sense. Because that's like a different side of the family. That's Lorraine Baines' family. It doesn't... Yeah, you see what I mean? I've been sitting on that for years thinking, this...
Okay, well, now
I know why
I'm
you've done it, because then you can't
try and piece that together.
Exactly.
Now.
I was like, I know why you've done it, because then you can't do... So, like, the motif in all three movies of him waking up and it's a version of his mam. This doesn't work. That's just a bit weird. Do you not think? And I couldn't quite explain it. I was like,
a wee bit.
well, I can. I just didn't want to use the words. I'm like, there's something wrong with this family. Something very wrong.
Oh, dear. Well, I mean, the laws were very different back then,
I didn't care if it's Hill Valley in the late 19th century. Good lord. So that there is the issue that I just think is really funny. Like, it's weird, but it makes me giggle, and it doesn't actually ruin the film.
See,
anyway.
I didn't really think about it too much until you mentioned it. And now I'm just going to be thinking about it
oh my lord.
every time I watch it.
Which, you can make that reference because they're Irish. I like that as well. That's nice. So he's Irish, and then I think I said, like, Doc Brown's family is German, I think? The Von Brauns, I think they were called. Which I think he makes a reference
Something
to
like
towards
that.
the beginning. Okay, one of the other bits that I really love with this movie is, especially with the way it wraps up, is the fact that you've got the DeLorean completely bust, like, properly this time.
Yeah.
I remember someone saying that there was a plot hole with the fact that at one point there's then two versions of the DeLorean in 8 and 85, so why don't they use the previous one? Doesn't make sense because the other one's fried. They do actually reference that specifically in Doc's letter, which I forgot because I hadn't watched this movie for probably over 10 years. Godzilla's just fallen over. It's fine. He also agrees. Only 10 years?
Look, he's fainted.
Yeah.
He can't take much more.
So someone was saying, well, there's one DeLorean that's still working. Why can't you use it? You can't. It is actually still bust. And then this one's ran out of gas, which I love how, like, dramatic the reveal is for Doc when it's like, you mean we're out of gas? And he's just like, just like so slowly being we are really screwed
I always
now.
chuckle at that bit because I was just under the assumption of, like, it's going to be like something, if we use, like, a car from the present in the past type of thing, it's going to be like this whole issue. No, it's just out of gas.
Yes. But you know what it is, honestly? I love that as, like, a reason, because it's like this super awesome futuristic time machine built out of a car from the 80s, and it's a very unreliable car. It's very well documented how unreliable. So actually, it just simply running out of gas.
Yeah, again, like, no, like, scientific, like, consequence of it. If we use a car from the future in the past, all this could happen. No,
Yeah.
it's just running on fumes.
No, I like it. So then what you get is what becomes the best finale of the three is the decision to push the DeLorean across the train tracks with a train. And I'm like, you know what? That's beautiful. Like, that's really nice.
It's Lego. Do not make that a set.
Because you will...
In the next...
Because you will...
3 years.
Because you will be homeless. Because you'll run out of money. But it's okay, because there'll be a weirdo in Chestler Street just on the side of the road playing with his Lego train and DeLorean. It's absolutely fine. That was really harsh. That's true.
Oh yeah, I mean, like Lego is just notorious for putting us collectors in debt.
Yeah. But I love, actually, again, with like thematically wrapping up the trilogy, you've got the past with the train, you've got the present with the DeLorean, and you've got the future with the hoverboard, and that is your finale. And I'm like,
Yeah.
these are very simple things that movies just don't do anymore. It's a very simple idea, but it works so well.
Yeah, it's like they've kind of forgotten that simplicity is key sometimes.
And, it does feel like they might have, it's not like they would have taken any criticism to part 2 in hand, because they were filming this, I think, like 3 weeks after the finished part 2. But the fact of the matter is, this movie is significantly simpler than part 2. It does feel like a course correction in one sense, because maybe they might have thought, oh, we'll make part 3 just completely nonsensical, which part 2 isn't. Like, it really isn't. Like, I understand why some people do think it. I don't agree. But I like the part 3, again, similar to another Star Wars movie. It's not doing too much that's new, but it also doesn't need to, because they know they're going to be wrapping things up. It doesn't make sense to do too many brand new things. The press store log.
Oh, so like The Last Jedi.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah, that's a good point, because that was a trilogy of 2 movies. Next year. But
God, if looks could kill.
yeah. Or films. So the entire finale with the train, I think, is absolutely terrific. I think Alan Silvestri's score as well for that sequence is
God, I love that score.
brilliant. Like, I love it so much.
That is 100% a record that is on the want list on Discogs.
It's going to cost you probably about the same as the Lego set that they haven't made yet, which I'm honestly shocked they haven't. Or they have, and I've never realised.
This is what I mean. Like, they've done the DeLorean, but I'm just thinking, like, how have they not done this one yet?
Yeah, well, money.
Well, yeah,
Much
licensing
money.
and all this kind of stuff, but I think I'd expect too much from it. Like, I'd want the whole western town.
Mm-hmm.
I'd want the train track, the train, the DeLorean.
That's the thing, actually. Like the Hill Valley set is beautiful. Like, it's...
Yes.
Like, it's terrific. It's like the perfect, like, Old West interpretation of Hill Valley.
Oh, 100%.
It's so nice. And again, like, even... as they're trying to figure out what they're actually going to do to get this car up to 88 miles an hour, and then it's just like, can we push it? And you just see a train go in the background. I'm like, oh, I'm just, yeah. I love this as an idea. I really do. And one of the other things I really love, which again, is something I'd appreciated as the years went on, is with the character of Clara Clayton. Or Clara Clayton, if you're going to do the American version.
Clara Clayton.
So, as we've already said, I do love the fact that you shift to Doc for, like, the emotional story instead of Marty. In this case, it's him falling in love with someone who should be dead. Which suddenly makes the ending work a little bit better, because that's just them interfering again. Because, as they make a point of saying, the reason it's called Clayton Ravine is because Clara is the one who should have gone over in the carriage, which, I don't know what on earth was going with those horses. They were absolutely yeeting their way across Hill Valley. It was ridiculous. I've never seen them look as scared as that. It was like something out of Scooby-Doo, but with a horse instead of a dog.
I can just, like the really, like, old school Scooby-Doo when, like, Scooby would jump into Shaggy's arms and they run. I'm just, like, envisioning one of the horses jumping in the other horse's arms and running.
It's a snake. But no, what are your feelings on Clara as a character in this? Do you find her annoying, or is she actually quite nice?
I don't think she's annoying. I'm just happy for the dog.
Yeah, he does actually get happy.
It's about time he settled down.
Yeah.
It just happens to be in the Wild West, where there's the possibility of just being shot for walking outside. But no, I'm happy for the guy.
No, it's really sweet. Like it really is, especially because you've got the scientist falling in love. That's like quite a standard trope. And especially with Marty being like, "Can you stop thinking with your heart and think with your brain, please?" Even though he's clearly not thinking with his heart.
No,
he's not.
He's thinking of something else.
Not going to finish that sentence.
Probably best not
It's
to.
a good job we don't put ads on this podcast, otherwise we'd get demonetized immediately. It's like, what on earth are you saying about Mary Steenburgen? My goodness. I'd like to take her to 88 miles an hour. Anyway, but I like even her reaction after he admits that he's going to leave, which I love that whole exchange because especially throughout part 3, and as I say, it's set up in part 2, that Doc is realising that the DeLorean is a really bad idea. And when he says that, when he realises that, okay, fine, I will come back with you, but the second we get back, we are destroying this. And you do genuinely believe that he does actually think that. And I can remember watching it for the first time thinking, no, they're not going to, surely. Like, I know it's part 3.
Yeah. There's
no such thing as a part 4, thank God. But there's still that, like, stubborn part of me as a child thinking, no. You get a bit of both by the end of this one, but we'll get at that. But even her reaction to him saying that he's from the future is very real. Like, to be honest, just like, you are talking out of your arse. Like, how dare you? But I do still buy that she would actually change her mind when she realises that, no, he does actually love her a lot. And there's that one shot, I think I put this in my, because after I watched part 3, I watched, I think, what is considered one of the oldest, like, films ever made, which is the very famous one from things like the 1880s or something, of a train coming into the station. It's very, very simple, but there was that long-standing rumour that when audiences saw that for the first time in the 1800s,
they were in the opinion that it was going to come through
which I'm like,
screen.
You guys are talking out of your ass. Like you don't think that. But it's the shot of Clara at the station as the train comes in and then the smoke comes through. I'm convinced it's based on the same shot, which I love.
Oh, right.
I love that a lot.
Okay.
And again, it's like
a
30-second shot. It's really, it's not even a minute. But I do buy that she would actually come back and decide, you know what, I want to come with you. And because she was supposed to be dead, you might as well bring her back with you because she's not meant to still be alive.
If you've already broken the rules, you may as well break more.
Exactly. And it means that you can do a callback to, like, the Twin Pines Mall and the Lone Pine Mall, where instead of Clayton Ravine, it's now Eastwood Ravine, because the entire time Marty's been calling himself Clint Eastwood, which you would do. I feel like you just would.
Yeah, of course, you bloody would.
And I forgot that they called it Eastwood Ravine, and I just giggled. I was like, just like one more time,
yeah.
just messing things up.
You always want to go back and just, like, scan through any other little Easter eggs.
Yeah, and...
like, anything that's just, like, named after, like, some, like, famous Western actor or something.
There is probably more than I think.
There probably is, like...
Yeah. And sticking with, with the being Eastwood Ravine and getting back to 1985, which is awesome, always love it, brings a tear to my eye. You then get the actual ending. So they do immediately destroy the DeLorean with another train. I'm like, right, thank you. You have actually done that, but Doc's still in 1885.
Mm-hmm.
Then he comes back with a sodding steam train.
Yeah, you see,
with 2 kids.
It's not really a downgrade at this point. Like... That always baffled me. He's always preaching about, we should have never built it, but he's literally built a bloody...
Well, because the worst thing is that my favourite line in the entire trilogy is from this movie. It stems from that scene. And I used it in my review for part 3 at the top, where it's, your future hasn't been written yet, no one's has. Your future is whatever you make it, so make it a good one. Mm. You have given yourself a reason to do it like this. But it's one of those things where it's like, I get it. I just really don't like it. Like, you have kind of opened your way out to do a fourth movie, even though you never have, and I really appreciate the fact that they haven't. But I do feel like it kind of upends its own philosophy, and I do think it's more poetic that you do actually destroy the DeLorean, and hell, even keep Doc in the past. Because he's happy. You can end part 2 with him being trapped there. You can end part 3 with him not being, well, technically being trapped, but being happy.
Could have done it a variety of ways, I think.
Yeah, because I think, both characters' arcs, both Doc's and Marty's, are all wrapped up in this movie by the time the Marty gets back. So, it works. And also, you can say whatever you want about the visual effects in part 2. Please, say them as much as you want. The trains never looked that good.
Looks a damn sight better than the
Get lost.
The shit
Get
in the
lost. Okay, well, I mean, I could have easily brought up, like, this movie is considered the weakest of the three. Do we still stick by that? No, we both really love it. But obviously...
Nah, I would watch this just way more than I would not watch it.
That's fair.
I would watch this happily again and again.
Yeah. But obviously, though, we do have to address the survival guide in the room. I mean, the elephant in the room, and that is the Patented Real Podcast's survival guide. We've done this a few times now. I don't know where. Well, this one might be also quite easy. If the two of us were transported back to Hill Valley in 1885 with nothing but the clothes on our back and our modern day knowledge, which is temperamental at best,
limited.
Yeah. How long do you think we would actually survive before being shot, catching dysentery, or just insulting the wrong person?
Right, I think it's a combination of the three.
We're taking this very seriously.
I definitely think it would be talking to the wrong person. And I think it's just because I just have one of those like looks where I just kind of look at everyone and I just look pissed half the time. So I'm probably end up going to like stare down some like outlaw and not realise it. So, it's bye-bye Dan.
Bye-bye,
You're probably just going to die from dysentery and can't afford the treatment because, we're in the West. I'm pretty sure they don't take modern currency.
And I don't carry cash. It's annoying.
No.
So, do you take contactless?
Do you take
what,
cards?
Sir? Contactless? What?
You'd probably be lynched thinking you were like a wizard or something,
I was going to go with witchcraft. It's going to be like that.
Yeah, burn at the stake.
We're going to bring that back.
So, yeah, I think the only way I'm really surviving it is if I just kind of keep my head down and don't attract too much attention to myself. But if we're kind of dressed in modern clothing, I think we're kind of doing that to ourselves a bit.
Yeah.
So
I feel like I'm not going to get much further than the Indians and the cavalry charge. But more specifically, I'll probably survive the Indians. I'm in a car made out of steel, probably. I don't know what it's made out of. Hope.
It's made out of hope.
Yeah, which is the case for the entire all three movies. It's like, I really hope it works this time. I'll go and hide in the cave. Cavalry, whatever, fine. I'm not surviving the bear. I'm just not.
No.
That bear is going to get me.
The whole thing of you've got to make yourself look bigger than the bear, that is just impossible.
No, I'm running
for
away.
me. No.
Like, no matter how much Red Dead Redemption experience I've got, I'm still running away from the bear when it says not to do that. I'm fucking running away. Or I think even just... One of the funniest, I'm not going to say...
I sort of feel like the stupidest way that, like, literally minutes into the West, I'd probably be dead because I kind of envision myself doing like the Sideshow Bob skit where like, when he walks into the rake all the time.
Yes.
I feel like that would be me, but with the cactus. Like running back and forth into cactuses, attempting to escape a bear.
I feel like for me, the other one would be, and it's one of those things, I wouldn't call it like an action scene, it's not, but it's just the shot of Marty falling down like the hill and then smacking his head on the back of the farm fence, and he somehow doesn't die.
Oh, yes.
Like, that's... it. Whiplash, minimum.
Whiplash, yeah.
Just like, and it's like, oh yeah, he's been asleep for like 6 hours. I'm like, no, he's dead. He's dead. He's actually been asleep for 6 days at minimum.
Yeah, he was. I think if that was me, dead.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I'm too clumsy and I'm too frail to survive that kind of stuff.
Yeah, once again, we're proving with each one of these, like, genuinely, I'd like to figure out, I'm going to look through the schedule later, I want to see if there's actually going to be a scenario.
Is there actually one that we're going to survive?
Exactly, yeah, I'm trying to think, is that likely? No. But it's funny to think about. Yeah. It's really funny to think about. Yeah, I'm going to say that I'm going to survive a little bit less time than you, because I'm going to get gutted by that bear, and then you're just going to catch dysentery and just hurl an insult, because otherwise the sarcasm will actually be the thing that kills me. I just will not get past the bear.
Oh yeah, you would 100% be the one getting shot,
Yeah.
because I kind of feel like he would just talk shit to
What kind of music do you like, sir? Punk?
your mother.
Nah. It's like, okay, right. Here's 6, 7, 8
Outside
reasons.
now.
Oh. Yeah, as proven as ever, we're not going to last long. That is our thoughts on Back to the Future Part 3. Just, still for me, one of the all-time greats. And, I did mention at the start, I think I did label this, for a little bit, my favourite movie. I think, full stop. But yeah, that is our thoughts on Back to the Future Part 3, as I said. Now, the next episode has been tweaked. Literally within the last 24 hours.
Not even that.
No. So originally we were going to do a retrospective on Batman Begins. Just because why not? Like, literally no other reason than, yeah, sure, go on. Until my delightful co-host, because he has a brain, and I was not thinking about it.
Yeah,
Even though we did reference this particular movie in the last one, you referenced the fact that Mike Flanagan's slasher film Hush is 10 years old this year. So we're going to talk about that instead of Batman Begins. And it's ironic because we referenced Hush in the 10 Cloverfield Lane episode because John Gallagher Jr. is in both. I promise it wasn't planned. I can prove literally with...
It really, really wasn't.
The fact I've got the thumbnail for Batman Begins, I'm now going to have to throw that out. I'm like, no, Hush instead. So thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you again later in the month for Hush, for its 10th anniversary. So we'll see you then, and until then, it is goodbye from Raging Dan.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.